Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Jess and welcome back to Planted Hippie. Welcome back to another video. Today is kind of a stormy day here in Florida, so if you hear thunder in the background, that is what's going on. But with this stormy weather, I am taking advantage and trying to get some plant chores done. So if that does interest you, I'm going to be also answering some questions from you guys on Instagram. So if you don't follow me there, please make sure to so you can participate in the next time I do something like this. And I'll be answering questions while I work through my plant chores. So if that does interest you, I please ask that you stick around, leave a like, maybe even a comment down below, or even subscribing so that you are notified every time I upload a new video and to help me keep on planting. Please also don't forget to, again, follow me on Instagram at planted.hippie, where I post new planty photos daily. So with that, let's go ahead and get into today's plant chores. Alrighty guys, so I quickly wanted to start off this video again by mentioning that if you hear little Uno, my 12-week-old kitten, he is in his little playpen here playing around. Actually, I'm trying to keep him from playing around too much because he actually just got neutered on Wednesday, so about 2 days ago now that you'll be seeing this. If you work with kittens or even foster them or even work with, I guess, puppies, you'd understand that trying to keep these little guys calm and not running around during their recovery process after being neutered is quite challenging. So I kind of have him in a little playpen that just has the bare necessities, has his litter box, his food, and his water, and he is so bored and he absolutely hates it. So, but oh well, it's only for the next couple days and he actually gets to go home next week. So I'm very, very happy for him, and I will definitely update you guys on Instagram if you care to know about him going home and all that. So I'm sure his family will be super excited to see him next week. So I did want to again preface my video that if you hear him bopping around in there, that's Uno. I guess I also wanted to mention the reason behind me not uploading a video last week was I actually got a new tattoo. So I can show you guys here. I already had these sunflowers kind of existing here, but as you can see, if I can kind of zoom in for you guys, there you go. I got a beautiful dot work mandala done to cap off my shoulder here, and I'm absolutely in love with it. I feel like with every tattoo that I get, I kind of am coming into more of my own body, if that makes sense, and how I was supposed to really look like. So, oh, there's the thunder coming in. So yeah, I just really love that new tattoo, and last week I just needed some recovery time after getting it. If you get tattoos, you know what I mean. I just was so exhausted by the end of my session, and the next day I was not up for filming. So I hope you guys understand. And it is getting increasingly more dark as we sit here and this storm rolls in. That is crazy, but I think I'm gonna move into my plant room anyway, and there's more grow lights in there and more lit up anyway. So let's go ahead and get set up over there and get started on these plant chores. I did want to quickly mention before we head into the noisy plant room, I'm going to turn off some of the fans so you can hear me better, but still it's a little noisy. I wanted to quickly tell you guys what we will be working on today. I wanted to keep it kind of short and sweet, so we're not all here forever. So I wanted to get some moss poles made and ready for some plants that I need to have them ready for, I guess. So I'm going to be making like 5 or 6 moss poles. I'm going to be repotting my Song of India that I just purchased a couple weeks ago at EFG, and I'm also going to be needing to wet my moss poles that are already existing. So I do need to wet those and get those moist for the plants that are climbing on them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go do these plant chores. Okay, so I'm actually gonna just stay here in the living room, not going to the plant room, because last time I tried to film in there when it was storming, even with the fans and everything off, the windows aren't very sealed, so the outside rain and thunder, you could hear it like so bad with the audio. So I'm just gonna stay inside. I'm gonna set up a little tapestry here to collect some of the moss. That's obviously going to be going everywhere since the potting mat is just too small for how long I'm going to be making these poles. You'll see. So let's go ahead and get that set up. Oh my gosh, you guys can like see outside. It's like so dark. The thunder. It's like not even 4 o'clock. Gosh. Florida thunderstorms, man. They're crazy. Okay, so here are the poles that we're going to be working with. They're like little garden stakes that I use to put in the center of my moss poles. They are 48 inches, so 4 feet, I think. And yeah, they're just going to go into my mesh. I'm not going to make these too thick of poles, just going to make them thick enough to get aerial roots into them, because a lot of them are going to be made for philodendrons like my gigas, where they're a little bit more fine roots and not so thick like with monstera. I probably want to make at least one thicker one because I do have a newer monstera to put on it that I will be sharing with you guys soon. But yeah, I have a lot of plants to be putting on moss poles soon, and I will be sharing with you guys obviously which ones I will be putting on moss poles. Eventually you can follow my Instagram to see which ones end up on the poles. So I recently, let's go ahead and kind of get started. I'm going to start by cutting out a couple just poles of 10, so 10 squares across. So 1, 2, 3, 10. Let's do 15. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So cut there. And the first pole has started, and the rain has started to come down too, so I'm going to cut out a couple of these that are going to be just poles with 15 squares, and I actually wanted to go ahead and let you guys know some updates while I do this. So, as well as doing answering some questions from those who left them on my Instagram, I as well wanted to update you guys on where I was the past 2 weeks, and as well as getting my new tattoo. The weekend prior to getting that tattoo, me and Austin took a trip back to my family in Tennessee where they still live, and we were able to attend a plant open house where a friend of ours named Dom is an owner of Red Leaf Exotics, and he planned a really cool open house event for his followers and customers and stuff like that to come and see his greenhouse in person. So I thought that was really cool. It was around the time we were kind of planning on going to visit my family in Tennessee anyway, so that is about as thick as it's gonna be, like that. So there's one. Just kind of keep making it. I don't have much mesh left here, so I'm probably gonna end up just using the rest for these poles now. So our trip kind of lined up perfectly with this open house. So we had actually been to this greenhouse prior. We've been there last year, and we've met Dom and his partner Brian before, so I wasn't like nervous about going back. I was actually very excited to see them again. I think like the first time we went to see their greenhouse, we kind of were still newbies to plants in general, and even Austin I think will agree that seeing his collection was just so like stimulation overload, and so many plants to take in and look at that last time that we visited. I don't think we got to see even half of what Dom had to offer. So this time we really took our time and really explored the greenhouse, and we were there for like 4 hours. So it was a really fun time. I ended up getting some plants from there, which I will again be sharing in a video upcoming. And let me count these. And yeah, that was a really fun experience to be also able to meet some of the people behind the Instagram accounts that we follow on Instagram and even YouTube. So it was really cool to see some of like the bigger names and even some people that are just starting off in the hobby. So it was really cool. Even a a kid and his dad had flown all the way from the UK to be at this open house. So it was really cool to see that. We also got to see Dom's variegated Spirit of Sancties, which go for like $25,000 each. So that was really cool to even just be in the presence of such a rare collector aroid, and I am just super thankful that there are people out there who allow people like us to come and see their private collections, because I learned so much that weekend, and again, meeting so many more plant friends was just super fun as well. So that was a really cool weekend, and that only kind of kicked it off because we also set up an appointment with Calvin at Tennessee Tropicals, which is a little bit north of Nashville, and my parents live in Nashville, so we went home after the open house on Saturday, kind of hung out, went to downtown Nashville, and then the next morning we had an appointment for 2 p.m. so we kind of hung out, had lunch, and then headed out to see Calvin's collection. And if you do not know anything about Tennessee Tropicals, it's again another private collection, but Calvin obviously as well sells online retail plants just like Dom. And so we went to go see Dom's collection because he's obviously more geared towards the carnivorous plants, and Austin and him have a great relationship, so we obviously had to do that. But I wanted to go and see Calvin's collection because of his obsession with variegated plants, and I knew and heard of many people going to see his collection, and I had heard nothing but good things about his collection. So yeah, I was super excited to see Calvin's collection, and that's exactly what we went and did. We drove about an hour north to Springfield, and I was so excited, especially to bring my own parents because I know they are into plants as well, and I'm so glad they ended up coming because they even found some wish list, I guess, plants of their own, where they're gonna be actually going back in the springtime when Calvin has more stock of some stuff that they were interested in. And again, I got some plants while I was there, so I will definitely be getting a video together here soon of what I got. Jeez, did you guys hear that freaking thunder? Florida thunderstorms are no joke, but I absolutely love them. I am just super ecstatic to share with you all the plants again that I got, and I almost want to say them because I'm like the person that like, do not tell me the presents you got for people for their birthdays or for Christmas, because I get so excited and want the person to know what it is so bad. I'm like the type of person that gifts the birthday or Christmas gifts like a day or two early because I just can't wait for you. I just can't wait to see your reaction. But yeah, we are just working away. That was a really big thing that we did that weekend. And then of course I got the new tattoo, which I'm so obsessed with. Again, I just love getting more and more tattoos and kind of feeling more like how I was supposed to be born looking, if that makes sense. It's a weird thing to explain. I love my tattoos, and with, again, everyone I get, I just feel more like myself. So what else? But yeah, I think this was actually a good time to maybe bust out some questions from Instagram. Some of you actually did reply with some questions, so let's go ahead and maybe read those. So someone asked, not plant related, but what did you have to go through to be a cat breeder? Oh, that's really cool. I know in a few videos I have mentioned, again, Uno's here, that I am a TICA registered ragdoll cat breeder. So I started back in, hold on one second, let me count this one again. Great question. These questions don't have to be plant related. I love talking about my cats. So I officially started breeding and had my first litter in 2018, but I registered as a cattery and started collecting or I guess just getting the cats that I wanted to have in my breeding program. I started doing that in 2016. So I was only 17 years old when I got my first male cat, and I worked with a mentor breeder who had already been breeding these cats for about 30 years, and she shared a lot of great information with me and helped me get started. She helped me get started and obviously helped me pick out which cats I should bring into my cattery, which cattery she recommended, and even sharing some of her cats from her own cattery and lines. So that's basically how I got into it. So that's basically how I got started. I got into breeding these cats because I originally was just looking for a pet cat myself, and when I talked to the breeder that actually ended up being my mentor, just speaking with her and getting to know about the breed and getting the cute videos and even the newborn videos of when the kittens first arrive was just so special. And I have actually raised kittens before. I've fostered cats in the past, as well as we let our golden retrievers, our family dogs, have puppies when I was younger, and I am no stranger to raising animals and assisting in pet deliveries and stuff like that. So I think it was always something that maybe I was destined to do in a weird way. And I remember when I first started dating my fiance Austin, and I told him, yeah, I'm gonna be a cat breeder. I'm gonna breed cats, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. He kind of like jokingly laughed it off, and then eventually we had our first litter, and he fell in love with it just as much as I did. So we've been doing it basically together since 2018. I met Austin in 2017, so it's pretty crazy that he has been like the cat dad along with me this whole time, even though we were just dating, and he really didn't have to, but he fell in love with breeding the cats just as much as I did. So far as of today, Uno is actually my 51st kitten I've ever produced in my cattery. Every kitten before him, so 50 kittens, have been placed in forever homes. So that means all 50 kittens that came before Uno are in loving homes. They're forever homes, and luckily, knock on wood somewhere, they stay there and they are happy and healthy and continue to thrive in those homes. So I know I am a newer cattery and breeder, so 5 years doesn't seem like a ton of time, but 50 kittens is amazing, and I am so blessed to have my clients and the families that I work with who do adopt my kittens, because it just brings a sense of calmness and like, okay, I did my job. My kittens are safe, they're happy, and my clients are happy as well. So that's how I basically got into breeding cats and why I continue to today. So I really do love doing it. It looks like I'm gonna cut this guy in half, and that'll be our last poles. It looks like I'll be making 6 of them. Great. So let's cut this in half, and I think I had another question as well. Okay, so another question I got was, what is the plant that you've struggled with the most thus far? So I was actually gonna make a video soon of like all the plants I've ever killed, but I don't know. That can kind of be perceived as like, I guess, negative, but I recently have been struggling with my Hoya carnosa compacta variegata. So I had that plant for like basically since I started my plant journey. It was one of the first Hoya I ever got because of its variegation, and I really loved how beautiful it was. So I bought a few plugs about a year ago, and they've been slowly, very slowly growing out, and mostly I think rooting in the terracotta that I had them in. I don't know what happened. I think I introduced a plant into my cabinet that had mealybugs, and it just ate it. It destroyed it. It disintegrated from the roots up, and then I just checked on it one day and it was so rotten and gross. I tried to like salvage it by like chopping the heads off and sticking the little root, like the little stem it had left, in some water, and hopefully that's doing something. But luckily my job at Leonardi's had some new Hoya variegated ropes come in a couple weeks ago, and I ended up just getting a replacement one, so hopefully I don't kill this one. So that's kind of the one that's been kind of giving me some issues lately. I'm trying to think of another plant. Oh, for sure, I actually got some Anthurium regale seedlings from Dom at Red Leaf Exotics last August. So I've had them for a year and they're basically just dying. They were doing so well when I brought them home. I sprouted them. They were just seeds. I made them into seedlings, and then literally this past summer, I don't know if it's just gotten too warm for them, or I don't know, because I basically only have one seedling left that has like new growth coming out. Everything else, I lost one. So I had 3 to begin with. I just completely lost one. The one that was kind of small always and never really was a great grower to begin with. Then the other one right now kind of just keeps drying out its leaves every time a new one comes out, no matter how much I'm misting it or keeping the sphagnum around it moist, which seems to be like, that's how I treat. I'm not treating it any differently than my other Anthurium, so I'm just really confused why she's struggling so bad. But let's go ahead and get my poles filled with sphagnum before I make this into a super long video. And yeah, I'm probably gonna like put some music over this part and you guys can kind of watch me fill up the poles. And yeah, let's speed round this part. Okay, so I got my bowl of water and some sphagnum, or sphagnum, I don't know how people want me to pronounce it. And yeah, trying to think. If you do follow me on Instagram, you will have known that I, and probably a lot of people, are getting the Milsbo talls because IKEA finally restocked them. So I actually got a white tall one and a black tall one. So I am really excited to share those build videos with you. I am working on a build reel for my Instagram as well, so keep an eye out for that. But I am super excited that IKEA finally restocked those, because now I can finally have a plan, I guess, for the winter time. I have a lot of plants out on the back deck, I guess, that need to come inside to the plant room, and I know a lot of smaller things can fit inside of those cabinets. And these cabinets also serve as a really good like protection for the plants against my cats. Although my cats don't really mess with my plants very badly, or as I guess other people have complained about, they're still cats and I worry about their safety, and I definitely probably have some plants that should just definitely be kept away from them due to their toxicity, or just that I love them and I don't want them to be mauled or fall or tipped over one day. Honestly, if my cats are gonna mess with my plants, it's just gonna be by them accidentally like walking past one of them and knocking it over. They're not necessarily ever gonna be like drawn to messing with my plants, if that makes sense. But yeah, I went ahead and got some soil, or some sphagnum, all moistened up. I'm going to do the same technique that I have always, sorry about that, my battery died, but I think I was just saying that I'm going to just fill up my moss poles the same technique that I always have done in my moss pole video. You can go check that out if you want to see just exactly how I do my moss poles with verbal instructions, but for now you guys can just watch me go ahead and make all of these. So I will be back when I'm finished and we can move on to the next plant chore. Alright, so I finished up making the moss poles, and now I wanted to go ahead and repot my beautiful brand new plant, the Song of India Dracaena. It is, as you can see, a bit root bound coming out of the bottom here, and I thought it should have a beautiful pot. And I've been saving this beautiful Volkswagen rustic kind of vintage looking VW bus pot for something really beautiful and unique, and I thought the Song of India would just look so beautiful in it, and look at that, it does. So I'm hoping it'll root nicely in here, and I know it won't probably live in here forever, but I think it will appreciate the up pot and the cute upgrade. So let's go grab some soil and I will repot this beautiful girl with you guys. Okay, so I got some new soil today just in preparation for this. So I'm going to be using the black gold succulent and cactus mix and sprinkling in some of the Better Grow special orchid bark to make my little mix. I do have a soil mix video. If you'd like to check that out, please go do. But since I'm just going to be repotting this one plant today, I'm just going to be mixing inside the pot itself. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm choosing to use the cactus mix as my base because it's just a really nice airy soil to start with as opposed to the all-purpose, and I want to make sure that this Dracaena is drying out the way it's supposed to and not getting any root rot, because it does have some pretty thickum roots and they don't need to be holding on to moisture as much, I don't think. So let's get some orchid bark in this mix to break up the soil a bit. And I'm so used to wearing gloves at work that whenever I'm at home and just go to use my hands, it feels so bizarre. Gosh, there really is a lot of room in this pot. And some more bark. And just like my video, I kind of eyeball everything when I do stuff like this, so go ahead and pop this out of its container. Wow, look at those roots. If you can see them on my face. Look at those roots. Very, very root bound and ready for a new home, I think. I'm sure it's gonna grow in super, super cool. I'm sure it's going to grow in super beautifully into this pot, and when summer is over, I'm definitely going to be bringing in all of my ficus trees and this Dracaena and my little umbrella plant, so everything will be nice and bushy and I think really, really looking beautiful after their time outside and everything. So yeah, I am super excited to be repotting this and getting it ready for the winter time. This is also your reminder to get your last minute repottings done before winter hits, because I don't know, you can always repot whenever you want, but I just find that plants, I think, enjoy being repotted during their growing months, so to each their own, I guess. I am loving the way this is looking. We're gonna just give it a little shaky shake. Top it off a little bit more. Use that whole bag just for this beautiful plant, but that's okay. It'll appreciate all of this rich, nutritious soil. And yeah, I'm so excited to see how this continues to develop. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lift it up. It's a big, heavy pot, but look how cute! I love it. It looks so beautiful. And I'm gonna have to find a really beautiful spot for it, probably in the plant room from now. And then again, once it turns to winter time and I need to find some more spots around the house, I will be finding a new spot for her. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our last plant chore, which is just simply wetting my moss poles in the plant room. So let's go ahead and go do that. Alright, we are in the plant room to do the last plant chore, which is just wetting the moss poles. So I have my spray bottle here, and let's go ahead and do it.